So, the way this works is that a computer or user, i.e. you, will send a synchronous packet to your network or server or whatever you're connecting to, and this will acknowledge if the connection is genuine, essentially. So if they think that you are an actual computer device that's wanting to exchange information, it will go, right, I've received this packet, I will now send an acknowledgement back. So it sends back a synchronous acknowledgement packet back here. So you then know that the thing you're trying to connect to has said, right, I've received your message or received your connection message. This is fine. Like, I acknowledge that you want to connect to me. That's fine. You then send an acknowledgement out saying, right, okay, I've got your acknowledgement. Let's establish a connection. And obviously, then a connection's established at the bottom, and you can connect to each other. Now, with a denial of service attack, this obviously requires less than a few nanoseconds to do for a computer. It's infinitesimal. However, when you've got a network that's having computers do this all the time, so say we're getting into the hundreds of thousands realms, it starts to struggle with the amount of SYN requests that are coming through. Hence why it's called denial of service, because it the server cannot physically cope with that many synchronous packets coming to it. It doesn't know what to do. So when this is coming to it, it just freezes and it doesn't know what to do because it thinks I need to get all these done, but it keeps piling up. So essentially, a denial of service attack will just stop a network dead, usually. So DOS isn't really good for getting out information as such. It's more for taking down particular things. So if you were trying to take down, say, a domain controller for a network which controls most of your network functions, if you were to target that specifically and that goes down, it might leave other things vulnerable. Hence why denial of service is quite useful in some other aspects. So like I said, I've put all the information onto these. You can see them and you can look at the PowerPoints at a later date. So obviously I've just gone over that. This is a version of TCP which we would have covered in networking. I did briefly mention it for those of you who looked at the materials. If you haven't looked at the materials, I will probably put them back on so you can see them, but you need to read them from lockdown because a lot of people didn't. So if this is all new and confusing to you, that's because you probably haven't looked at any of my networking stuff. So please look at the networking stuff for TCP packets, please.